Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Andrea, and I'm the creator of the nomadPi. Today, I want to show you what the nomadPi is and why I built it. Let's start from the why. During the pandemic, I fell into the rabbit hole of wanting to build my own van. And although this ended up being a huge anchor to the place where I live, I have learned a lot about all the things you have to consider when you want to build a van. Those include, but are not limited to, designing a solar system, sizing your batteries and possibly building them, figuring out plumbing, adding a heater for the colder times, and putting it all together given very limited space. Now it turns out there is a million different ways of doing all those things, and all the components you will buy on the market come with their own app, switch, control panel, dial gauge, and whatnot. I was, of course, planning on building something quite sophisticated for my van, including a recirculating shower, a large solar array, and surveillance cameras. We are well into the 21st century, and I was looking for something better than a Frankenstein control panel with switches and gauges from 15 different brands. Now you might see where this is going, but to my surprise, I didn't find much. Even the IoT and home assistant stuff out there doesn't really crack the off grid use case. And that is because a lot of the stuff that you will use off grid, like batteries, solar chargers, water tanks, are not really well integrated into those systems. I want to mention one exception to this that is a project I'm very fond of, which is called the VanPi. If you don't know it, I would highly recommend you check it out. The guys running the project have done a crazy good job at reverse engineering a lot of the components that go in a van, including heaters, water tank sensors, and whatnot. On their website, they sell a relay board and a bunch of other accessories that make it much easier to connect things together. But even then, when looking at building what I wanted to build, I realized that I would have to heavily hack into their system if I wanted to extend it the right way. And so, long story short, I ended up building something from scratch. Now, if anything of what I said resonates with you, I have some good news. This is called the nomadPi, and it's there for you to use for free. It is a software running on the Raspberry Pi, which lets you connect, control, and monitor different appliances and devices in a way that would otherwise not be possible. So, for example, it gives you a dashboard where you can monitor temperature, the level of your water tanks, how much power your solar system is generating, how your batteries are doing, and so on. It also lets you control anything that can be connected to a relay, either through the Vampire relay board or through Wi Fi relays like Tasmota and Shelly. That applies, for example, to your water pump, your fridge, your lights, etc. You can configure and arrange a control panel any way you wish. And you can even combine different functionalities into one single button, so you don't need to remember that when you want to take a shower, you also want to turn on the heater. You can just have a single button that says shower that will turn on both the water pump and the heater. And speaking of heater, the nomadPi provides a thermostat that you can control from the same interface where you can set your temperature, a timer, all the things that you would expect a thermostat to do. Now, continuing with the list of wishes that I had at the beginning of this video, you can also set up security cameras and an alarm system. You can then decide on rules based on which the alarm should trigger. For example, when motion is detected by one of your cameras inside your van, or when a vibration sensor is triggered. For example, if a car bumps into your van while you're away. And anytime the alarm is triggered, you can decide to be notified through a WhatsApp message. Now, there's two more features I want to mention in this video, which are remote access and cloud sync. The nomadPi makes it very easy to set up something called Cloudflare, with which you can access all of your system from anywhere you are, as long as there is an internet connection available to the system itself. This means you not only can check on security cameras and sensors from remote, but you can also control anything that is connected to the nomadPi from anywhere you are. For example, you might want to turn on the heater on the way to your van, boat, or tiny home, wherever you're installing this. And last but not least, the nomadPi lets you set up cloud sync so you can rely on cloud backups of your data no matter what happens. For example, if someone breaks in and rips off your cameras, you still have a chance of having a recording of that event because that data is being pushed to the cloud constantly. Or in a less dramatic scenario, if you ever end up spilling water onto your Raspberry Pi and needing to buy a new one, you can simply load the data that you have backed up without having to reconfigure everything from scratch. There's one very last thing I forgot to mention is that you have an integrated voice assistant inside the nomadPi, so you can control things and ask it information about the system with your voice. For example, I can say, "Okay, nomadPi,
What can I do for you?
please turn on the lights and tell me how much fresh water I have left in my tank."
On it. You have 67.5 liters of fresh water remaining in your tank.
And that appears to be correct. One last thing I want to say is that although a lot of what I talked about has to do with vans and building camper vans, there's not really a reason why you wouldn't install this into a boat or tiny home. So the appliances are really the same, and the use case is more for off-grid than for anything specific. Now that's it for this video. Thanks for watching and let me know what you think in the comments. Bye, and I'll see you in the next one.